Good morning, Daywalkers. I am Reanimate Her, Mixer's Queen of Horror, and this is Coffee Chat of Horrors, Mixer's first horror web show and the only horror show that takes its coffee like it's magic, black. Today we'll be talking about the Blair Witch Project. So make sure you slap on that SPF 666, grab yourself a bloody bucket of brains. Oh my God, that's a tongue twister, and enjoy the show. Here we are with Blair Witch Project. For those of you that are here who have seen this, all right, kids. Now I pledge. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Thank you so very much, Kit. The best thing about this pledge, this Kickstarter that she's doing, it's worldwide. Shortwave. Thank you for that, host. Welcome back, Bats. Yeah, my stream has been all types. Yeah, we're having that issue here. We're having issues. Washed Odin, welcome to the Crypt. Thank you for the follow. Thank you, Whispers. Been practicing. I never knew Jaws has a new video game out. Yeah, Man-Eater. Man-Eater dropped the other day, and I have it thanks to Dr. Black. Dr. Black, now I can officially thank you so very much for gifting me the game Man-Eater. Oh, yeah. Well, we got some really cool things for you to learn about the Blair Witch. First thing is first, Blair Witch is not based on any real stories. Believe that. The movie is not based on any real urban legends. It's all fake. All fake and all made up. Even the townspeople got in on the film because the director went there and actually spoke to the townsfolk beforehand. So a local girl that had a witch page, which was again made up legend, she had a Facebook page. They used that to bring on the legend of the Blair Witch and the Black Hills. A lot of people thought this film was based on a true story because of the hype that happened in 1999. I was so mad when I found out these fuckers were live. Like, I was so mad. Man-Eater is a great time. My only issue with it is no co-op, and they're saying it'll never get a co-op. What? That sucks. I have yet to play it. My heart breaks every time I read it out loud. That sucks. We was wanting to ask, where did you get and how about the Michael Myers? Oh, I can't even tell you where I got that from. That mask is over 18 years old. I've had that mask for a very long time. I may have gotten it in the States when I was there at a Halloween store or at a horror con that I was at. I don't know. It's a very old mask. It wasn't something I bought recently. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. For those of you who pledged, can you send me a DM on Discord? I would like to thank you, and I want to make sure that when we have Sam on here, everything is on she knows everything, right? So I think that's really cool. Only thing she has as old as Mikey is heavy. No, actually my eldest spawn is as old as that mask. So we are going to go watch the trailer to Blair Witch. So let's go and take a look at that. Yes, my spawn is the only thing that's the oldest. Right? Delta, I don't know. That's all on Mixer, hun. I can't, there's nothing I can really do about it. It's all Mixer. But here we go. We're going to go watch the trailer, guys. Hopefully you'll be able to hear everything. I hope. So we're going to go and watch that. This is also a good time. If you've seen this trailer and you don't need to go and watch it, now's a good time as well to go to the bathroom or get more coffee. So here we go. That is the Blair Witch Project. Now, this Blair Witch was released 1999. Yeah, the backstory, it's a really good backstory. We have a bunch of information on this film itself. The Blair Witch was released in 1999. I seen it open at night in theaters. It was a budget of $60,000. So $60,000 US. Box office, it brought in $248.6 million. That is one hell of a friggin' profit. Like, if you think about it, it cost them $60,000 to create this film. They brought in the box office $248.6 million. Oh, my mods, did you get the Terra trivia for today as well? The movie was okay, Dr. Black, and what made me super mad about this movie is finding out after the fact, after it was all hyped up, that it was all fake. That made me mad. Reminder, guys, back in 1999, found footage was not a really big thing. It wasn't well known back then, so you've got to put yourself in the era of 1999. We've seen before Blair Witch, the only kind of paranormal, ghosty, or urban legend type of films that we've seen before this was urban legend, Exorcist, those types of movies before this one. Found footage films were not a huge thing. So that when this was released, this was some pretty groundbreaking epicness that came out into the theaters. So again, try to put yourself in the era of 1999 frame of mind. A lot of us have been desensitized to a lot of this because it's the year 2020 and we've already had literally a million ghost movies of all sorts. Sasquatch Games, how are you doing? How are you doing? I had to take my friend's wife to see this movie. We laughed at the girls running. Yeah, I didn't think it was scary at all. Part 2 and 3? Yeah. I don't remember. I believe so, Mama. I don't remember. I really, to be honest with you, I have no interest in watching this movie again. But that's just me. The plot, the synopsis for this is 3 film students vanish after traveling into Maryland forest to film a documentary on the local Blair Witch legend, leaving only their footage behind. So again, found footage. You got that feel of found footage. This movie kind of gave me motion sickness. A lot of people had motion sickness. There were many people puking in the theaters. Yes, can you imagine having to clean that up? And it's because of the way it's filmed, right? Many people asked for their money back as well. Still, King Max, welcome to the Crypt. Thank you for the follow. I've never seen this. Definitely watch it, Bats. It's definitely worth a watch. It is. It's definitely worth a watch. Welcome, Steele. I am Reanimate Her, and you have walked into Coffee Chat of Horrors, and today we are discussing the Blair Witch. So, the plot of this story is Blair Witch is such an amazing film. Definitely was for the time that it came out in. Yeah, so you got to think about it. Put yourself in the time frame of 1999. For some of you who are probably just learning to walk at that stage, it was a different era, a different time. Seeing this movie for the first time had some groundbreaking things to it because there wasn't many found footage films in that time, right? So the plot goes, in search of a local legend, 3 bold amateur documentarians, director Heather, cameraman Josh, and sound recorder Mike hike into Burkittsville, gloomy Black Hills forest to find a shadow. The fabled Blair Witch, now 1 long year later, after that fateful October 1994, there's still no sign of the student filmmakers, apart from the new footage they left behind. Who knows what truly happened during their creepy 5-day journey into the mouth of madness. That was a good movie on its own. Was there indeed an intangible supernatural presence in the dark woods that led to the team's disappearance? Maybe. Either way, the missing trio must have seen something. Could the nightmarish myth be real? Maybe, maybe not. That is the plot to this film. Hi, Grandpa Cyrus. It was at the time, yep, my favorite horror movie. In slashers, Friday the 13th. I'm turning into the demon. In slashers, it's Friday the 13th. I love too many horror movies, so I break them up in genres. Thank you for all of the auto hosts. Chihuahua, welcome to the Crypt. Thank you for the follow. Yes, I know it's Chihuahua, but I say Chihuahua because my dog, Mr. Chico, is a Chihuahua as well. And he's staring at me right now. Like, Mom, I heard you say my name. So, this script wasn't technically a script. It was a 35-page outline of what should happen. The director wanted this to feel real. They wanted to have the actors give the audience like this is actually happening. So there was no real script involved in this film. It was a 35-page outline. It really did, Miss Chicken Arms. And you want to know something else that's cool in this movie? They didn't have planned sections to film at. They all carried walkie-talkies. So the actual three did not get lost in the woods. How they had some of the filming set up is that, of course, some of the trees had their cameras on them, right? Others had body cameras on them. And of course, you've got the cameraman's view of the one actor in this film, right? The audition for this film was very strange as well. I'm probably wrong, but I want to say I read somewhere that they put this out there at first treating it. Yes, so Sasquatch. That's why a lot of people were upset. I was one of those people. Weeks before this film came out, they hyped it up. They literally had a missing poster that looked real of the three faces that you've seen of the people that went missing. And these flyers went around as real missing people. People were putting them up, which was the crew, putting them up in the town of where these three supposedly went missing. They made the news, they made the television. It was hyped up like 110%. When the film was released and people were found out to be survived and was alive, a lot of people, including myself, felt ripped off. I thought I was actually seeing found footage of three people that went missing in the woods. That's how much this movie was hyped up. I know a lot of you that probably haven't seen this movie or, again, wasn't old enough to see this movie in theaters. At this time, this hype for this film was nothing like anyone has ever seen. They no longer do this type of stuff anymore either. I don't know if you've noticed that, but they don't really hype up films anymore. You get a trailer that basically shows you the entire film. I'm going to explain to you what the audition was like for this film as well, which I found was strange in itself. The audition process was all improvised feature film shot in a wooded location. It's going to be hell, and most of you reading this probably shouldn't come. This was the actual words. Hi, bicycle of death. And they did, Mama. We're going to get into all of that fun stuff. So the audition wording on the pamphlet was an improvised feature film shot in a wooded location. It is going to be hell, and most of you reading this probably shouldn't come. In order to test the improvisational skills of the candidates, as soon as each potential actor entered the room to audition, he or she was immediately told by one of the directors, "You've been in jail for at least 9 years. We're the parole board. Why should we let you go?" If the actor hesitated for even a moment, the directors concluded the audition. So the directors wanted to make sure that the actors that were going to be in this knew how to improvise really fast. Again, there was no real script. It was a 35-page outline of the probabilities of what could happen. So they didn't know what they actually had to say in each role, in each scene. It was all improvised. Oh my goodness. These days, it's the fans that hype up the films. It really is. It definitely is.
Diabolical. Thank you for sacrificing Chihuahua to the horde. Chihuahua, your soul has been sacrificed.
Now, if Chihuahua is here, make sure you refresh yourself. Get the scariest emotes on Mixer and a cute zombie kitty badge. And I'll get your name on the sub coffin. I hated this movie, but I do respect the way. I agree, serial killer. I didn't care for it, but the way they created this film, I have a much better respect, especially after finding out all this information. I have a better respect for the filmmakers and the actors in this film. The game is really good. Do you think had they gave it a little longer before revealing it all to be fake, that it would have changed the course of the found footage films? I think so. I think if they would have kept it under wraps instead of coming out that night that they were alive, I think that would have done something more for the film. But they didn't. They were just like, hey, they're alive. Hello. She hula hula. All right, so let's get your name on the sub coffin here as well. Need to get that done. Let me just get here. Hopefully the bot logged it down. All right. CHIAHUAHUAH. What a way to spell a name. A lot of H's, eh? It would have done great for tourism, exactly, for that state. You want to know what this movie did for that state? Their actual sign, "Welcome to Burkittsville," has been stolen numerous times. Chihuahua. There is your name on the sub coffin. 3 times that sign was stolen. 3 times, right? Right, Scroto? Right. Really. You would have stolen the sign too? Thank you for all of the auto hosts, guys. I do appreciate it. Now, this movie had different titles. It was not going to be called The Blair Witch Project right off the bat. The first title, working title for this film, was called The Blair Witch Tapes. How you doing, Alex? How are you doing? Thank you for your host. Hi, Beastly. No worries. Get your lurk on. Yeah, you can see the Elm Street signs. Yes, you can. And people steal those too. Beastly. Wow, thank you for that host. How you doing, Alex? So, one of the titles is The Blair Witch Tapes. Then the other one was The Black Hills Project. They finally settled on The Blair Witch Project as the title. We don't have one in my city, Vance. Otherwise, people would steal them. Doesn't matter where they come from. The 3 main actors were paid $1,000 a day. So they were paid $1,000 a day, and it took 8 days to shoot this film, but it took 8 months to edit. So 8 days. Hi, Punisher. I'm doing good. How are you? So it took 8 days to shoot this film, but 8 months to edit the whole thing and have it ready for release in 1999. This film was in the Guinness Book of World Records for top budget box office ratio for a mainstream feature film. The film cost about $60,000 budget, right? So about $60,000 to create this film. To make, and made back $248.6 million, a ratio of $1 spent for every $10,931 made. Think about that. Think about that math for a minute. So $1,000 a day, US. So the 3 main actors, $1,000 a day. It took 8 days to shoot. You can do the math on their paycheck. But this film is in the Guinness Book of World Records. Yeah. Sounds like leather nuts. Only it took us longer to edit. There you go. Yeah, 8 days. 8 days, but 8 months to actually edit and get ready. There is some real stuff in this film as well. So when they're running through the woods, Miss Chicken Arm, since you just recently watched this, do you remember the teeth and the twigs that they found? Wasn't this first ever found footage movie made? I wouldn't say first ever found footage movie, but it is one of the first ones for a mainstream feature. Again, in 1999, these things were not a normal thing, right? Yes. You know what? Those teeth were real. Those teeth in the twigs with the hair are actually human teeth, and they were real. They were supplied by a dentist, Eduardo Sanchez. He was a dentist and actually used real teeth. Also, the hair is real and it was Josh's hair that they used, right? You are the first person I follow on Mixer. Well, welcome, Steel King Max One. Welcome to Mixer. Mixer is a great platform. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to ask away. The men and women in green are my mods. So if you have any questions that I can't answer, maybe my mods can answer for you. Also, a lot of the people here in the Horde, the community is called the Horde, and we're really all a big group of friends and family that hang out, play video games together, talk about horror movies, watch horror movies together. So very, very welcoming community. Some of them will even answer questions for me. So if you ask a question and someone in the chat actually responds, they know a lot about me, so they could easily answer for me. According to Wikipedia, Cannibal Holocaust seems to be, yes, Dillinger, yeah, you're right. I would say it's probably one of the first found footages, and then you have all the other cannibal-made films back in the 70s and the 80s, right? I wouldn't say it's, Cannibal Holocaust was found footage. There's also a few others, but again, when this type of found footage we did not have. Yeah, exactly. If Dillinger answers for me, please don't get offended. I wonder why that is. You would think they would only real editing to be done in that film. At least I can remember. Yeah, you would think, but there was a lot of editing. I have heard of the movie Unfriended. Hi, Arno. How are you? Right, who can possibly be offended? But there are people who get offended for someone answering for me. Shocking. So yeah, the teeth were real. Guess what was used? Okay, so yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's not. You are on the coffin, Tranquil. You are. It's not a bad movie, Unfriended. I wouldn't say it's horrible or anything. It's not one of my favorites. It's okay. Definitely okay. So, for those of you who have seen this movie, do you remember the slime on Josh's backpack? Can you guess what that was? It was so cool because it's on a laptop. It was different. There was actually some older movies before Unfriended ever happened that actually did that first. But we'll talk. I do have a YouTube channel. I definitely do. And Her Zombie just posted it out for you right there. I respect this movie, but it's not my favorite. I respect the movie, and I have a better found of respect for this movie since I did this research. Personally, I didn't like the movie at all, and I was pissed off at the fact that they were alive. KY Jelly, yes. So, again, we all know Hollywood loves their shredded condoms and KY Jelly. On Josh's backpack is KY Jelly. Yes, Whispers, we did. 3 Horde members besides myself. Definitely. And I would love it if those of you who did the Kickstarter pledges contact me. I would appreciate that if you did. KY Jelly is Hollywood's lube. It really is. It really is. We all know that. We all know KY Jelly is a huge thing in the Hollywood industry. So in a scene where the main actors are sleeping in a tent at night, the tent suddenly shakes violently and they all get scared. This was actually unscripted, and the fear that you've seen and heard was all real. The actors were really scared. When they did this film, they gave these 3 young filmmakers a walkie-talkie. Don't get lost. So they're walking in the woods. They set up their tents. So they're not surrounded by a film crew. They are literally in the woods by themselves with a walkie-talkie to kind of figure out where they need to go next. Again, there was no script. A lot of the stuff that you see was on the whim type of stuff, especially the scene where they're in the tent. I went to see this at a drive-in, and some goofs were going around shaking people's cars. Didn't help that the drive-in was surrounded in a wooded area, right, Tenaciously? That would have been cool, though. Hi, Mama Ducky Hobby. Yes, Rob's the Mob. There is a Kickstarter for a horror coloring book that I spoke about in the beginning of the stream. There is a Kickstarter for it. It ends on June 6th. We are actually going to have the Little Witch, aka Samantha, on the show on the first Sunday of June. We're going to have her on here, and she is going to talk about herself, her work, and the new coloring book that she has. Now, this coloring book is part of a volume series. So this is just the first one. After June 6th happens, there will be another volume in the collection that's going to happen. Samantha has some really cool swag that goes along with it. So if you pledge, you get some really cool stuff. She is a local Canadian in my province. She is a tattoo artist that travels all around Canada giving tattoos. And she's located in Calgary. So I'm very excited to have her on the show. I'm very excited to show you guys even more about this amazing lady. It's very beautiful. I agree, Miss Chicken Arms. I did my own pledge yesterday. Fine, thanks. Hope the same over there. I am doing great, Arno. I am doing great. Can't complain at all. Don't forget, guys, Explanation Morgue every hour on your hour. Dr. Herbert West will give you a side of fresh limbs every hour on your hour. Exclamation point Morgue. So, that scene was real. The fight, no, I am not Steel King. I'm Canadian. I am Canadian. Channel 1, welcome, Channel 1. Thank you for stopping by. Sit back, relax. I hope you all have a cup of coffee or your favorite beverage because you are about to listen to Blair Witch Project information. Welcome to Coffee Chat of Horrors. So, remember I told you how this film was based on an outline. They had a lot. There was really no script. So was the set. The whole set happened throughout the woods. They actually had to set each actor up with a GPS unit so they can track the actors. And so the actors would find their instructions of that day during their outing through the woods. Devil Dog, darling, thank you for that host. You love Canada? Is very beautiful country. I am in Alberta. Hi, Willie. Well, in my province, the weather today is 17 degrees Celsius and it's sunny. You're stepping away from Stranded for a while. It pissed me off the other day. Yeah, sometimes you gotta take that step back tenaciously. I hear you. Sometimes you just gotta take that step back. So GPS trackers were used on the actors, and the actors had radios that they had to talk between each other. And in order for the actors to get to the next scene, they had to find the instructions for the day. So the reason why this film felt so real as real found footage is exactly that reason. They had to wear GPS, use a radio to make sure if they get lost that they could radio back to the main area so they can be found. Also GPS on them and different instructions throughout their actual walk through the forest. How are you doing, Devil Dog? And how is Miss Devil Dog doing? Now, the actors also had a keyword for when they had to speak out of character. So now the code word. So anytime an actor needed to take a break or they had to say something outside of character, they would use the word taco. They would say, right, pineapples. That's Metro's word. That's Metro's safe word. But thank you for that spark dump. I really do appreciate it. Their safe word was taco. So anytime they had to talk out of character, they would say taco. Now, the actors tried to stay in character the entire 8 days. Care Bear stare? That's my safe word too. Pineapples or taco. So really, that is why it felt so real when you've seen this film for the very first time in 1999. So the actors probably didn't even know what was going to happen. No, Sasquatch, that's the thing. When they read the script, it wasn't a script. It was an outline, a 30-page outline of what the story is somewhat about. There was no actual lines in it. It was more of an improv type of deal. Oh, I'm very happy to hear that, Devil. Very happy to hear that. My favorite horror video game is Friday the 13th, made by Ilphonic and Gun Media. Teacup, my hubby thinks the parody of this, the Blair Witch Project with Julia Stein and Larissa McComas, is better than the original, and it could be. I've never seen that one. But yes, this is why this film felt so real, is that it was only a 35-page outline. The actors were logged with GPS and a radio, and as they're going through the woods, they found their instructions for that day. So that is how it felt so real. The actors did a really good job. And like I said, I have a newfound respect for this film after doing this research and finding out what they actually had to do to create this. And again, it was shot in 8 days. Scary movie? Oh, it definitely is, Ken. It's a funny movie. Finding out it was all fabricated took a lot out of the air. Yes, Dahi, right there. That's what upset me about this film. Finding out the day of release that the actors were alive, I was so upset. I asked for my money back. I was pissed off. That's what put a bad taste in my mouth for this film. I've seen this film once and have not seen it again. And the reason why is because I was pissed off at the fact that I felt like I was lied to. I felt I was cheated. If they would have held on to that and waited till after weekend release, that would have hyped this film up. The film would have been hyped. You would have had people in the movie theaters all weekend long, and maybe would have made even more money and would have opened new doorways for found footage films. But after being lied to and hyped up that these 3 people were really missing flyers all over the place, they even made the friggin' news. For those of you that weren't back then, I remember watching the television, and this actually came up on my TV as a real missing persons report. So, yeah, exactly, Dahi. The marketing was brilliant. But then again, boom, opening night. Hi, these bitches are alive. Yeah, Scary Movie is a spoof. It's a comedy. Definitely a comedy. I am glad you are entertained, Steele. I'm very glad you are entertained. I do my best every Sunday to bring you the best of horror. But yeah, right, Dahi? You remember that. Yes, it was on the same level of the original War of the Worlds. Yes, Zelon, it really was. Again, they hyped this film up so much that on release, if they would have kept their effing mouths shut, who knows where this would have gone. Hi, Miss OEF5. How are you? Good morning, sweetness. Yeah, in 1999, I was already in my 20s. I already had my first kid a couple of years earlier. So when this came out, I was so stoked because, again, in 1999, found footage films were not a thing, right? You had Cannibal Holocaust. That was banned in 50 countries. So at this time in 1999, Cannibal Holocaust was not making it into theaters. You know what I mean? So the real found footage of the present day would have been 1999 and would have been the Blair Witch Project. Did you ever follow the Head Case series? It followed the serial killer Wayne Montgomery. Although the found footage was, of course, all actors, it was so eerily real. Same with the Poughkeepsie tapes. I've seen the Poughkeepsie tapes. Grumpy Dad, welcome to the Crypt. Thank you for the follow. I do appreciate it. Waiting on these lazy bastards to get up. And Patty, I will take pics. Yes, definitely take pictures. Are you going on a ride, Stereo? Unfortunately, I do not think the type of marketing would fly in today's world. Possibly, but we don't hype up movies anymore. We don't. They give us a trailer and they show us the entire movie in a trailer. They no longer do this stuff. I am doing amazing, Miss OE5. I'm really doing good. I'm having a great Sunday. Awesome, Stereo. We're gonna go for a short ride around town as long as I can handle it. Julia Strain is my hubby's favorite B movie actress. Nice, Mama. Trailers, yeah, they do, Miss OEF5. I can't stand them. True, they don't market the movies the same way they used to. They don't. Not at all. Can I please get Sorted Kitten reported for discrimination as well as homophobia? Please and thank you. Report and ban. I want to enjoy the movie, not have it fed to me. Exactly, Miss. Exactly. Now, let's get on to the rest of this film. This film finished shooting and wrapped up on Halloween night, which was really, really cool thing to do. They were hoping to be done and wrapped up beforehand, but that did not happen. So by Halloween night, they were fully finished. It was the last day of shooting. 19 hours. 19 hours of film footage. That's how much footage they received in their 8 days. Is 19 hours of footage was removed to bring the movie to 90 minutes. Can you imagine how long and big this movie could have been? So they removed 19 hours of footage to give you a 90-minute movie. Movies are supposed to be fiction. Sometimes they're supposed to be fiction, but they're better when you know about it being real. I love true crime stuff. I love urban legends that are actually real. They're not technically urban legends. Wonder if they're not. That would be really cool, Zelon. That would be cool. I didn't find anything where you can actually watch the previous full 19 hours, but you are able to find commentary and director information on the director's edition of this film on DVD or Blu-ray. Yeah, right, Ms. I enjoy that as well. Right? Well, again, the outtakes were probably funny. The three actors always tried to stay in character for the 8 days of shooting. The only time they would ever go out of character, they had a safe word, and that safe word was taco. So if they had to say, oh, by the way, I have to go and eat, they would say taco. But they lived each day as their character, and everything was impromptu. Like, it wasn't scripted. So everything they did, remind me to tell you about this series I'm currently watching. Yes, definitely. We could do 19 hours on a movie night. We could. We could. Thank you for those sparks, guys. I do appreciate it. Now, a lot of people really thought these three actors were dead, including myself. And it came as a slap in the face again. Some of the moviegoers in the film also became sick. Also became sick in the theaters. Yeah, no worries, Bats. Do what you gotta do. Artistian, the now defunct studio that brought the rights to the film, went to great lengths to keep Donahue, Leonard, and Williams away from the press for the time, and didn't correct websites like IMDb that claimed the actors were deceased. Donahue's mother, which is the female, Donahue's mother actually received sympathy cards from fans. Again, this was made to look real. IMDb, which is one of the biggest things in films that you can go to get trivia and more information about movies, they even had it in there that the actor's name, they were deceased. And they didn't fix it until after the fact. Mr. 2003 Max, welcome to the Crypt. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the auto host, guys. Cloverfield had the motion sickness effect. Cloverfield had motion sickness effect for many people, Miss Chicken Arms. I have to blame Blair Witch for my distrust in media, which made me feel like crap when I saw the 9/11 unfolding. At first, I honestly thought it was part of some film. Yeah, and it didn't seem real, right? It just didn't seem real. GG's on everyone who won that heist. But yeah, the movie Artistian, which is now defunct studios, they actually kept all of the actors away from the press, and they didn't correct the things that were found on the internet at that time. Now, mind you, the internet wasn't as where it was now. This is 1995. Public internet came out in 1995. This film was done in 1999. And when this film came out, IMDb had it on that these guys were deceased. Yeah, the Blair Witch, yeah, it was actually filmed in Maryland, in that Burkesville. Thing is, the Blair Witch is a made-up story. It is not real. The myth and the legend around the Blair Witch never existed before this film. A lot of people thought the Blair Witch legend was real and started doing investigations, started having people come to the town and the village and do all of these, phantom things, ghost tours and stuff like that. It wasn't real. It was all fake and made up. There is no Blair Witch actual legend. There is nothing. Those are just some regular forests. It is nothing special. The regional director of Lowe's Cineplex Entertainment estimated that on average, one person per screening got sick and asked for a refund. So that there's, right? And that's when you know you made a good film. Yeah, yeah. People were flocking to Maryland just to see this area. Just to see this area. I understand you, though. I mean, even though it's true stories, movies still past stories. Yeah. Never talk on dial-up again. Oh my God, really, right? You remember AOL? You remember that sound our computers would make trying to connect to the internet? Yeah. So part of the reason why the actors believed the Blair Witch legend was real during filming was due to Burkesville locals sharing a made-up account of the witch. So remember I told you early on in that the actors thought it was real and the townsfolk were in on this? No worries, Sasquatch. Have a great day. Thank you for stopping by. I will slash you later. All right. So the director of this film went to the town. Okay, can you please ban this and report? Just ban and report. Ban and report. Thank you. Declined. Elix, welcome to the Crypt. Thank you for the follow. It haunts me to this day, the dial-up, right? Of unwanted. Yeah, exactly. So the actors, again, banned twice? I guess so. I actually love the dial-up sound. I just don't miss the speeds. Yeah, that oh God, the speeds were horrendous. So the director went to Burkittsville and actually spoke to local townfolk. And they came up with this whole Blair Witch on Black Hills forest story. And a local resident actually made a Facebook page and account for this supposed witch. See you later, Channel 1, and all of you lurkers. You have a great day. Hi, Weapons. How are you? How are you doing today? So they used a local Facebook account made by a resident in Burkittsville for sharing this story about the witch. So when the actors did arrive in that village, in that town, and they talked to townsfolk, the townsfolk did act like they stated it was a real myth. It was a real witch. This actually happened. They even showed a Facebook page that was created a while back talking about this myth of this witch. So again, all made up. All made up. So the director wanted the actors to really feel that they were in an urban legend, a real urban legend. That was definitely going very extra on their part, Zelon. Yeah. And do you want to know that the directors of this film also gave the actors less and less food each day it was filmed in order to promote full-on conflict? And that by the last 2 days, each person ate a consistency of a power bar, fruit, and water. Hi, Potato Chip. How are you? No worries, Dead Mom. You do what you got to do, hon. Thank you. And I love your face. It is a great way to bring tourism into your town. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Zelon. Thank you for all of the auto hosts. Arno, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Crypt. It is, Miss Chicken Arms. It really is. It has to put legitimate mental strain on you, which makes their acting so much more. Yeah, it does. And so the directors also gave them less and less food. Remember, this film was made in 8 days. They were given GPS units. They were also given GPS locations on where they had to go. They were also given walkie-talkies in the event that they actually got lost in the woods. So when they went walking to the woods, they found the next scene. They actually found the next directions for the next scene. The actors had no idea what was going to be happening in these next scenes. So it kind of gives you another respect for this film and the actors that created this film. They were also given less food to make the conflict more real. And there was a lot of conflict between the three actors, especially being hungry, cold at night, because this was real. This was on set. This was in the woods. They weren't on a movie set. They wasn't on a fake scenes. They were in the woods for 8 days and on less and less food each day. Thank you for the sparks. I do appreciate it. Wow, I didn't realize they cut out the food rations on the film and my players say I'm shitty dungeon master for limited liquid intake when playing a desert game. Exactly, Scroto. But the director wanted real conflict. Real conflict. Yeah, they did. They did, Zelon. It was real danger. Anything could have happened in those forests. If they didn't have those GPS units or anything, who knows? They could have gotten lost. I heard people got very pissed off when Halloween 3 came out. Yeah, Mama, they did because they automatically thought it had something to do with Michael Myers, and technically it didn't. I think Halloween 3 is a really good film once you take out the whole idea of Michael. Sophia Dracul, wow, thank you for that host, hon. In the film, the word fuck was used 154 times. I love Halloween 3, Dillinger. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I love Shamrock. Yes, love it. It's a great film. Yeah, everyone else hates it, Batty. I agree with you. Many people hate it. But then again, they thought about Halloween and Michael Myers, right? They associated the title Halloween with Michael Myers. So when it came out as Halloween 3, everybody thought it was about Michael and they were going to see Michael. So they were all hyped up in their mind's eye and their imagination that we're going to see Halloween 3 and we're going to see Michael. Had nothing to do with Michael. So I personally, once you take Michael out of the equation, it's a great fucking film. Like, it's a great film. Yeah, it was great. You did. Exactly, Zelon. You had to separate it. So do I, Scroto. It definitely does, Batty. It definitely does. So yes, 154 times the word fuck was used. The name Blair. So here again, remember I told you the Blair Witch is not a real legend. The name Blair came from the co-director Eduardo Sanchez's older sister's time at Blair High School. That is where the first part of this movie came from, was a high school called Blair High School. Then the actual, you guys remember the part of the film where the camera zooms in on Heather's face and she's like breathing heavy, crying, and the snot was running out of her nose? You remember that scene? One of the most famous scenes of that film that you see everywhere. A fun fact, my mother wanted to name me Gage after the child in Pet Sematary, and she was a huge horror lover. Grandmother wouldn't allow it and named me Jamie Lee instead after Jamie Lee Curtis. That's awesome, Zelon. That is awesome. So that scene was a mistake and was not planned. When Heather picked up the camera at that next scene, remember they were told instructions at the next scene. They did not know what was happening. So the camera was sitting there. Beast mode, Garrett. Welcome to the Crypt. Thank you for the follow. The camera sat there. And when Heather picked it up, she didn't realize that she zoomed into her face. And she had no idea how close the camera was. So that scene right there was a mistake. But it was one of the best scenes that hyped the movie up and made the found footage just that much more real. Which I thought was really cool. Thank you for the auto host. I appreciate it. Thank you for the sparks as well. So the production as well had to get a very expensive right for Heather quoting the Gilligan Island theme song around the campfire. That was a very expensive piece to the production. That is why their budget was $60,000. That was one of the most expensive pieces in the film, because you couldn't just quote Gilligan's Island without permissions. They had to buy the rights to quote it only in that movie at that time, for that point in time. Well, it definitely worked well. He did. They used that for everything, especially for promoting this film. That was one of the first things you seen on television, was this chick all upset and everything, zoomed in, and snot running from her nose. Like, you honestly thought it was real, and that's what helped the hype with this whole thing. It came out amazingly well. That's how we would all film our own faces. Exactly, Miss Chicken Arms. Exactly. I would absolutely love a retake on Harper's Island in the found footage format. Well, you know what? There's new movies coming. We're going to talk about all the upcoming stuff that's happening this month at the end of the show. We usually have a horror chat of what's happening this week and this month in horror. And I've got some really cool stuff coming up for you guys as well to talk about once we're finished with all of our beautifulness. You love these Sunday streams. I really appreciate you, Bicycle. Thank you for coming over here and hanging out. Now, I know we have your command in here. I just can't find it. Where is it? What is it? Where is it? I think this might be it. I don't remember what it was. There it is. This is it. Definitely. If you guys are over on Twitch and you have an account on there and you watch anybody on there, you need to check out Bicycle of Death. Bicycle of Death is a content creator over on Twitch. Oh my God, Rise promoting Twitch. Holy shit. Yeah, I am, because I don't believe in platform wars. Bicycle of Death is an amazing content creator over on that platform. Loves all things horror and metal. I highly suggest clicking on that link right there and checking his content out. Also, unfollowing to refollow to get them levels. Oh, probably. Definitely. Yep, Dahi, you end up with a Snapchat filter if you didn't. Right? 160 days till Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Exactly. No worries. I've had it for a while. I just keep forgetting to do it out there when I seen you. Friday. Well, my favorites come in genres. My favorite slasher is Friday the 13th. Bumpiest. Thank you for that host. Okay, so due to the film's popularity, Burkittsville sign has been stolen 3 times. This is not a small sign, guys. This is not some tiny sign that's like yay big. This is a huge sign that sits on the outside of skirts of town so that when you drive in, it says, "Welcome to Burkittsville." That sign was stolen 3 times. It's not a cheap sign. It was stolen 3 times. Exactly. And Kit's another one that streams over on Twitch as well. I need to make your, actually, do I have one? Did I make one? I need to make one for Kit as well, for Twitch. She is a content creator over on Twitch as well, does some horror stuff, really good content creator. Danielle, GY, or Daniel, welcome to the Crypt. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Thank you. And oh, awesome. Thank you very much for that DM as well. Hi, Carrick. How are you? How are you doing? Yeah, I know. You did a great job. You did a great job, Reaper. Definitely did a great job on this. The camera that Josh, one of the actors that used in the filmmaking, sold on eBay for $10,000 after the film wrapped up. Yeah, I don't remember the command that I made. That's my problem. I can't remember the command that I made for it. So I'm gonna have to redo it, Riggs. I did it again. Gotham, thank you for the auto host. So $10,000 for that film. $10,000 for that film, for the recorder that they used in the film of making it. And that's American. I hope they made good money off of that movie. They did. It was $60,000 budget. They brought in $248 million. I felt it changed the horror genre, at least for a small amount of time. That. Oh, okay, man. Safe. Yes. Bumpiest, how are you doing? You did a great job, Reaper. You did a great job. It did give it a new look at everything. One being found footage that was in mainstream feature. And when I say mainstream feature, there was previous found footage, but a lot of that found footage was why did that get deleted? Okay, that's awesome, Dark Psycho. Thank you for that. Now, found footage previously done from the 70s and 80s, many of them were banned. Cannibal Holocaust being one of them. They did not play in the United States. It was banned in 50 countries. Thank you very much for those sparks. I appreciate it. The house that was used in Blair Witch is an actual house. So the house is called Griggs House, and it was a historic home located in Granite, Maryland. It was a two-story house constructed in the mid-19th century, which still stands, and it is a historic home. That was used in the beginning. If you've seen this film, you would know which house that they walked into. What does the red symbol mean that you see in the Blair Witch Project and the posters? That is a symbol of the Blair Witch, which is what's right here as well. That is the symbol of the witch. And throughout the forest, you see these hanging things that were done with fish wire and rope and twigs to make those symbolisms throughout the forest. Finding it so hard to find a horror shirt. I know, Bumpy. It's to find one that's not mainstream. It's not easy. Not easy. The actors really felt that this was a real legend and that this was truth, and it really wasn't. So numerous fans were so convinced of the Blair Witch existence that they flocked to Maryland in hopes of discovering the legend. They apparently did not read the closing credits of the film. If you watch this film and you watch the credits, the end credits, it specifically states that this is not real, that the footage is fake, the actors are alive, and this was not a real legend. This was a made-up legend. But even so, thousands of people flocked to this area, the Black Hills, and in search of the Blair Witch. So read the credits, guys. Read the credits. I thought that was hilarious. It did really well for tourism because they were making money on something that never actually happened. There were people there, ghost hunters, and all sorts of things going on. Thank you very much for giving me some squats. Thank you, Scully, for tweeting out the stream. I appreciate that. Thank you. You guys remember in the forest, in the movie, you hear the sounds of children? You can hear the creepy sounds of children playing in the forest. For those of you that's seen this movie. So the sounds of the children heard at night was taken from kids playing around the house of director Eduardo Sanchez's mother. The tape was played over and over throughout boomboxes in the forest. So there were boomboxes set up in different areas of the forest to echo the sounds and the creepy sounds of the kids playing. Ake, thank you for saving me from squats. I appreciate it. Yeah, they are. Definitely are. Probably some conspiracy theories, like they don't want us to know she was real, so they said she wasn't. You never know, right? All of them trying to feed off the popularity of the film. That they did. It reminds me of your spooky home videos and the Beldam clip. Yeah, that it does, right? The Beldam? She's a creepy bitch. I'm doing good, Jake. How are you? For those of you that don't know, the Beldam is a witch that has possessed my house a little bit here and there and has caused some craziness within this stream. We haven't seen her in a while, thank goodness, but who knows what may happen. So fucking annoyed. They have no ETA and when it will be delivered. So basically, you have to sit at home and wait and not do anything. Which diabolical? Which project did you back? So Scroto drops down another 20 jumping jacks. Thanks, Scroto. And Ake is like, nope, that's blocked. Beldam, are you there? Asking for a friend, right? I've never watched Blair Witch Project. Yes, hate me? I don't hate you at all. Not everybody has. I highly suggest watching it, though, because the Blair Witch did break some grounds in found footage film back in 1999. There's definitely worthy of a watch. I would not watch the remake, but I would watch the original from 1999 and kind of look at it as through the eyes of someone seeing it for the first time in 1999. This film was groundbreaking for found footage because there was found, don't get me wrong, there was found footage earlier in earlier years, but none of them were featured, a mainstream featured, right? My whole house is fucking disaster right now, and it's probably killing you because you know it's a disaster. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Do whatever you need to do. The reactions from Heather, Mike, and Josh when they discover they have walked south all day and ended up in the same spot, that's real. They were genuinely upset that they had walked all day for nothing. The filmmakers placed flyers around Cannes for the film festival that these were missing posters. Remember I told you that the posters that were up there, they were real? They looked like missing person folders. It is a symbol of Blair Witch. Since that's what we were talking about today, Ello. So I've been doing some research on the Beldam and occult witchy traditions and came across some interesting information. Has activity been picking up lately? It has. There's been some strange stuff happening. Some strange stuff has been going on around here. For witches, the spring equinox is known as Astera. Yep, and it's named after the Germanic lunar goddess and the embodiment of the great goddess who gave birth to the sun god at the winter solstice. You are completely correct. Thank you, Dark Cycle, for redeeming a 1 free chest card. GG's. So for those of you that are new to the channel, new to the stream, or just joining us, we are discussing the Blair Witch. This is Coffee Chat of Horrors, which gets done every Sunday here over on Mixer. We start at 9:30 a.m. Not only do we go in depth about horror movies here, sci-fis and thrillers, but we also have horror chat about the industry, new games, books, magazines, music, and much, much more towards the end of the stream. We also have Terror Trivia. Terror Trivia is 6 questions that are asked about this film. You win prizes. So, you love... Hi, Craze. How are you? How are you doing? You've got 4 more? Nice. So the filmmakers around Cannes actually put up missing flyers and posters stating that the cast was missing. All the flyers were taken down the next day. Want to know why? It turned out that a television executive was kidnapped just prior, and the flyers were taken down out of respect. The executive was since recovered safely after the fact. So they went around the film festival putting out these flyers for the 3 missing actors, and they pretended that it was real. These flyers looked real as well. They were taken down because in the same town, in the same area, a television executive was kidnapped. So they removed those really quick. If you had one of those, it's probably worth a pretty penny right now. Last card was a toe card. You'll block. It's not the lip sync. Yes, it would be a toe card. Ake is on point with his cards, man. I will tell you that. Can a person be killed by laundry? Because I swear it's trying to kill me. I wouldn't doubt it. I hate laundry myself, Crazed. You're going to start making tinfoil crosses and sage smoke sticks. Yeah, I would. It sounds cool, but I worry we're in more for Beldam activity. I think so too, Dillinger. There's been some strange stuff, and you are right. Ostera is coming. Full moon is coming. All sorts of craziness. So we may see the Beldam. I have no idea. Oh, you did. Thank you for letting me know. That's been 5 Horde members now that have backed that Kickstarter. Thank you, Diabolical. Thank you so very much. I am going to play them all now, and I want cosplays, right? I am drinking coffee. Scroto is going to have me sing a song that I don't know, by the way. Yes, Scroto has a song picked out. I don't know the words, obviously, because he wants me to lip sync things that I know nothing of. Nice. GG's. Kickstarter hype is real. That is awesome. Thank you, Horde members. Thank you. This is our last imagery of the Blair Witch that we have for you today. So we're getting down to the last nitty gritty of this film. GG's, Dark Psycho. It looks really good, Diabolical. Really good. At 85%, this is the highest score on Rotten Tomatoes of any film that was nominated for the Razzie Awards for Worst Picture. The Razzie Awards, if you've never heard of them, they are almost like the Academy Awards, but they're for movies that bombed. And Blair Witch has the highest at 85%. And that's probably because people were super pissed to find out that these fuckers were alive. Coffee is a good constant during these times. It definitely is, Oblivious. How are you doing? I hope you all took notes. Yep, Terror Trivia is next. It definitely is. Fargo from 1996, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1974, and the Blair Witch Project in 1999 were all presented as true stories when they were first presented to the public. But they're not true stories. Fargo, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the Blair Witch are not true stories. They were portrayed that way to hype the film up, but they are not based on any true story. You haven't been taking notes. I have to see if that's on the ASCAP. I don't know, Scroto. I have to make sure that things are on the ASCAP. Yes, Fargo is not based on a true story. A lot of people thought Texas Chainsaw Massacre was as well. They thought it was based on the story of Ed Gein. It's loosely, and I say very loosely, based off of Ed Gein. They use a little bit of Ed Gein's story in the movie, but the movie is not based on Ed Gein. The Blair Witch Book of Shadows as well received as the first one. And that concludes our information and research on Blair Witch. All of the research and imagery that you see will be in my Discord by the end of day today, as well as a edited version of this video will be up on YouTube as well. But if you have permissions from the Merkins to use their music, it's different to use their music than to lip sync to it. I don't know, Dillinger. I can do it. We just can't put it on YouTube. My ex-wife is from Plainfield. Her grandparents went to school with Ed. There's lots of stories about Ed Bicycle. It was inspired by less impressive events. Oblivious, actually, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was inspired by Toby by the Night of the Living Dead. Also inspired by insane asylums. Toby went there to study the mentally insane. And so that is how you get the whole story of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the Sawyer family. I literally got into an argument with someone last night. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre being real, based on real events. It's loosely and very loosely based off of... And Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of my favorite slashers. Yes, they call it a slasher. It's one of my favorite cannibal movies as well. Oh, I'm so glad you do, Dead Mom. Zelan, welcome to the Crypt. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for those sparks. How the sequels to Blair Witch Project? I don't know. I didn't watch them because I didn't care for the first one. Ed Gein, another product of our wonderful state of Wisconsin. Nice, Zelan. It's on ASCAP. Like the original song is, but their Slash Street Boys Merkins is? Yeah, it was probably the most toxic relationship I've been in. Oh, wow. Them hard-shelled peppercorns. Well, I'm off to work. Fallout, have a great day. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. So that is our research for Blair Witch.